Oh my gosh, finally I am making a video for both of my channels. I just got done filming a video, my favorites video for June/July because I didn't do one for June. But yeah, this is going to be a Hey Gets Personal video, and this is like more nothing to do with YouTube, nothing to do with anything but my personal life, I guess. And if you want to see Hey Gets Personal videos more often, leave, like, what's it called? Leave ideas below, or like give me things you want to see. I do want to get a Hey Gets Personal video up about relationships, how to get started on YouTube, that sort of thing. There's a couple things that I have like in the back of my mind that I've been thinking about. But this is just a video honestly because I need to vent, because I get so sick of work. And I like my job. I love serving. It's a lot of fun. It is very fast-paced at my one job. I actually put my 2 weeks in at my other job that I worked through the winter this past weekend. So I have 2 weeks left there, and then I'll be finished. But at my other job, love my other job. Like, I have so much fun. It's very fast-paced. It's very, like, high stress, but it's still a lot of fun, and the people make it a lot of fun. But I get so mad some days. Like, I want to make videos, and I'll have it in my head, like, after work, I'm going to make a video. And then when I get off work, I'm in such a bad mood that I can't make a video because I don't want to sound like a brat, but I really don't think people understand how much money servers make, like, hourly. I get paid less than $4, but more than $3 an hour. That's all I get paid. Like, I think people literally think that we make minimum wage plus tips, and it's not like that at all. Like, we make a lower wage than minimum because we are dependent on our tips. Like, that's where we make our money. I just picked up my check from the last 2 weeks today, actually, and my check was only $50-some for 2 weeks. Like, we don't make our money from being paid hourly, and people just don't get how it works. Like, if you don't work in a restaurant, or like don't know anyone that works in a restaurant, I literally don't think that people understand. Like, the going rate for servers used to be 15. Now it's more like 18, but most people don't tip 18 still. It's like anywhere from 15 to 20%. And this summer has been horrible. Like, we've just had people that are so rude that'll come in, run you around, and then leave you 10% or less. And it's like, seriously, so discouraging. When I truly feel like someone just doesn't know how little we get paid, like, it's okay, I feel better about it. But when I feel like people just literally don't care, like, it's just really frustrating, because it's like, if you can afford to go on vacation here and you think that you can afford to go out to eat, you should be able to afford to pay your server. Like, it's just common courtesy. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. And the way that it works at my restaurant is, well, I think the way that it works for any server, you make whatever your wage is, not minimum wage, you make your wage, and then that's your wage for your 2 weeks, okay? And then you are, like, you have to be paid at least minimum wage by your employer. And so if my tips for 2 weeks don't meet minimum wage for the hours that I've worked, then my employer has to pay the difference. But if I made minimum wage, more than minimum wage one day, and then literally didn't get tipped the next day, but then the average of that still equaled minimum wage, I wouldn't get paid for the hours that I put in the day that I didn't get tipped. Like, you don't get paid up to minimum wage. Like, it averages out. So if you get paid more than minimum wage 3 days but don't get paid anything in tips 2 other days, as long as you still make minimum wage, they don't pay you minimum wage for the hours that you worked where you weren't making money. So it's kind of frustrating when people will come in and treat you like crap and run you around, and you know that you're not even making minimum wage that day. And also, like, people don't understand that servers, like, there's a rotation. Like, we'll have 14 servers on in the morning because it's a breakfast restaurant and it's very busy. I work in a tourist location. We are the only breakfast restaurant inside of my hotel, And so that's the only place that people can eat. Like they don't leave the hotel to go out somewhere to eat, because it's just where I work, that's not how it works. Like you eat there. So you either bring your own food in, or that's the only place you have to eat in the hotel. So people will come down and we'll be very busy, and like you'll have like a 3 to 5 table section usually. And when you have 3 table sections, like that automatically makes you have a bad day, because you know that you can only have 3 tables at a time. Usually the 3 table section is 2 top and 2 4 tops. So 2 tops, usually their bills aren't very high because it's just 2 people, whereas you make a lot more money off of a 6 top table where, you know, meals average $10. Automatically 15% on a 6 top table compared to a 2 top table is quite a big difference. It's so hard to explain. Like, I don't know how to explain this, but like someone will come in and they will take your table and then they'll get a water and a muffin, and then they'll tip you less than 10% on that. And it's like, I understand that you don't think I did a lot of work for you. I understand that you're trying to get in and get out, like you didn't sit here long and all of that, but it's like you took one of my tables in rotation, so I'm gonna have to wait. Say I'm number 1 on the list. If you with a muffin and water took up one of my rotations, then I have to wait for them to go through 13 people before I get a table again. So each one of those other servers may be getting 6 tops and making $12 off of that table, whereas you pay me 50 cents for your muffin and your water. And it's just really, really crappy. Like, people don't realize how that works. Like, just because you didn't get a lot of food and you don't feel like I did a whole lot, like, I have to wait now 13 people to come back to me to get another table. And then if I have another person like you, I'm making $1, you know, in a half an hour. And it's just really frustrating sometimes. And then you'll have tables that will, you know, run you around for everything. Like, oh, I dropped my fork on the floor. I can't use the same fork for my eggs and my pancakes. And I used all my syrup. I need more. And I need napkins. My kid is messy. And, like, I need a wet nap. I need more iced tea. I need a water. I can't drink this coffee. This milk's disgusting. I want regular milk. And it's just like, every time that you run me back and forth, like, you're taking away from time for one of my other tables. And then it never fails. Like, the tables that run your butt off are the tables that tip the worst, that take up most of your attention, and then you'll have a table of totally nice people, a super nice family, and you know that you didn't do a good job with them. And, you know, they'll tip you decent anyways because they're nice people. And it's like, if I had really had the time to sit and talk with them and be a good, like, excellent server to them, I know that they would have tipped me so much better. And then you're here stiffing me and giving me nothing, or giving me 50 cents. And it's just, like, so annoying. Like, people don't understand. Like, as a server, I try to go out of my way for people. Like, I'm a nice person. You may know that about me, you may not. But I feel so bad. Like, our prices are insane. Like, we have ridiculous prices. I work at a Perkins restaurant, and the prices for our food at our Perkins are sky high compared to normal Perkins restaurants. I had a table, and the lady just wanted eggs and toast. And then the other girl, her granddaughter wanted pancakes, and then a guy wanted 2 sausage patties. Each side is about $3, so if you add that up, that's $3, $6, $9, $12 for 4 sides. Some sides are a little more, like the meat may cost more, it just depends. I reined it in the cheapest way possible because it just made more sense to order a meal and then split it up than to order sides that are ridiculously priced. And so I did that to be nice, and then when I brought the receipt out, I explained, because it, you know, was reined in as one meal. I wanted to make sure that that was okay with her. And she was like, oh, no, that's great. Thank you, honey, blah, blah, blah. So it's like, I went out of my way, and as a server, like, you want your check to be as high as possible. Like, you want to sell drinks. You want to add cheese to your eggs. You want to, you know, add sour cream to your breakfast potato. You want to get your total the highest possible so that your tip is better, because your tip really depends on what your check is, because it's like 15 to 20% of the bill. So the higher your check is, the more your tip is going to be. So servers really shouldn't do stuff like that. Like, I mean, to be nice you should, but to make the most money that you can make, you don't really want to help people out. Like, you want to charge them for everything possible. The lady that I did the meal for and charged her like $5 less than I could have, she only gave me literally $1.25 on a $40 bill, which was like horrible. Like, it just totally ruins your day when you get people like that. And when you get people that completely stiff you, it's like, do you understand that you took my time, you took my energy, you took my attention away from other tables that were actually willing to tip me. You took a rotation of mine that I can't make up now. Like, I'm one table, I essentially am one table behind everyone else because you didn't tip me. I just want to like tell you, like, I'm sure I will never serve one of you unless you just happen to come to my restaurant, which is doubtful. I guess it's not that doubtful because it is a tourist location and it could be possible, but I'm not like telling you this so that you'll tip me good, because clearly the chances of me serving you are very small. But I just want you to remember, because like I don't think people really get it. Like, people don't get it how serving works. Like, we don't make minimum wage, and even though your bill is small, like, you took up our time, you took up our energy. Like, we served you. Like, we literally served you. And people just don't get it. And I guess pretty much what I'm trying to say is be nice to your servers. Like, we don't get paid. Like, we really do rely on our tip. $15 every 2 weeks is not enough to pay for a wedding and pay for gas and pay for school and pay for, you know, everything else. Like, it's not a lot of money. It really isn't. So, I mean, at least I have a job. I'm glad I have a job, but some people are just so rude. And it's like, the ruder the person, the worse they are. The worse they treat you, the more they run you, the worse they tip you. Like, that's just how they work. So what I'm trying to say is be nice to your servers. And, like, if your server does the bare minimum, they at least deserve 15 to 18%. Like, that's the going rate. Like, 10%, I would never, ever, ever tip a person badly, because you don't understand. I mean, when you go into a restaurant in a bad mood, you're hot, you're hungry, you know, you got in a fight with your boyfriend, your kids aren't listening to you. Like, when you go in with an attitude and then you treat your server crappy and then you don't tip them well because you're in a bad mood already, and you know, think that your day is just horrible, and you don't think that that person deserves that tip, you don't know what that person is going through either. You don't know, 2 tables before you, they might have been screamed at by someone for their eggs not being made the way that they wanted to. And that's another thing. Like, people take things out on servers, and it's like, no matter what problem happens in the restaurant, the server's the one that gets yelled at. Like, if the host sat them at a dirty table, if the host wasn't paying attention and didn't come up to seat them for 5 minutes, or if the food was cold, or if the food wasn't made right, like, most of the times, I mean, there are times where it's a server's fault if they rang it in wrong, or, you know, you asked for it a certain way and they didn't tell you that they wanted it that way. Then it is their fault, and, you know, then you can go from there. But most of the times, servers get blamed for things that are other people's fault, and it's not like you can really, you know, Keith in the back screwed up your food, and, you know, that's Caitlin's hair in your food, not mine. Like, you can't do that. You have to apologize. You have to, you know, give them your sincerest apology. Like, it's your job to make them happy. And some people just aren't happy no matter what. And it just really stinks sometimes, because the people, a lot of times, that are messing up your table are still making minimum wage while your you know, money is suffering because of their mistakes. So you just gotta remember that. And since I'm a server, I always, like, literally always tip 20% or better. Even if I have a tiny bill, if I had a $12 bill, I would totally tip them way better than 20%, because it's like, I only spent $12. Why can't I tip better? I don't know. I guess a good starting point is 20%, and then, you know, if they didn't refill your drinks, take a little bit off of that. Or, you know, if she didn't ring your food in right after you specifically asked for, you know, but no butter on the pancakes, or something like that. Like, go from there. Like, don't automatically just jump to 10%. And another thing you have to take into consideration is At our restaurant, like, it's literally impossible some days to run your own food. Like, if you have 5 tables, the chances that you're back in the kitchen are very small because you're mainly out in the dining room. So you may not know your food is up and someone else is prepping and running your food for you. Like, we literally have people that prep food. So they put butter, sprinkles, powdered sugar, whipped cream, all that stuff on it. And some people will say, you know, butter on the side or no butter. And the preps don't always catch that. And if they're the ones prepping your food and bringing your food out, and you know that your server didn't bring your food out and you saw them waiting on a table the whole time that, you know, someone was passing your food, chances are they didn't see that the butter went out on the pancakes, and they may have put it on the ticket, but someone may have missed it. Like, there's just so much that you have to take into consideration. Unless you work in a restaurant, you don't realize it. Like, you literally don't understand. That's why I would never be able to tip someone horribly, because I don't know what's going on back in the kitchen. I don't know, you know, what kind of day they're having or how much they've had to put up with, or, you know, they could be doing every single thing you ask, but it might not be their fault that things are going the way that they are. And sometimes, yeah, I've had really, really crappy servers before. I've had people that are just rude, and a lot of times I think people think I'm not going to tip well because I'm young. And it's like, I've worked in a restaurant for like 6 years now. I'm pretty sure I understand how that all works, but you know, whatever. Sometimes I like to just, you know, shock them and prove them wrong. But yeah, there's a lot of jobs that rely on tips, and you just have to be aware that